Well, listen to this as we go into the unemployment maze tonight. Florida's unemployment benefits are some of the worst in the country and some of the lowest payments and shortest duration. Some legislators are fighting to change that. On Your Side's Jocelyn Howard spoke with lawmakers who say Floridians have waited just too long for relief.
Ultimately, the unemployment system in Florida has been designed to not work.
Broken. That's how State Representative Anna Eskamani describes Florida's unemployment system.
When we're looking for support in a moment of a global crisis, it's just not there.
At $275 per week, Florida has the third lowest benefit payment in the country,
which is something Floridians just can't survive off on.
And the shortest program duration in the nation at 12 weeks.
We have one of the lowest benefits in the country.
That's why Eskamani and her colleagues drafted a new bill.
Would increase the weekly benefit amount to $500 per week. It would also increase the amount of weeks to be a standard of 26 weeks.
Almost doubling the benefits that are currently in place. It would put Florida around the country's average. The bill also includes setting a 3-week deadline for claimants to receive their eligibility status and selecting someone to oversee the Department of Economic Opportunity to make sure it's delivering benefits in a timely manner. State Senator Annette Taddeo signed off on the drafted bill right away.
This is an insurance program. This is not a giveaway. This is something that is supposed to be there for emergencies such as this one.
Both Eskamani and Taddeo say they will be facing the battle of a tight state budget this year. Unless a special session is called, any suggestion will not be considered until March, and if approved, wouldn't be implemented until July 1st when the fiscal year begins.
There's a lot that we need to fix, and we've left a lot of people waiting.
Jocelyn Howard, First Coast News, On Your Side.